right, everyone. Listen, first of all, I'm amazed at the graphics and everything for the students. They are back for their second season, and I must say I'm pretty impressed. So shout out to the team for making this long time vision a reality. So welcome to the first episode of season two for the No Cap Zone podcast. This is powered by, of course, educational entities. So if you are tuned in, you already know I am Professor JBA, moderator for this particular podcast. I'm honored to support the work of my students. And so, with that being said, guys, if you are not connected to our work, make sure you visit our website, educationalentities.com. Connect with us via Facebook. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you definitely check out some of the previous work and seasons of our students. So, my last thing before I pass this over to the host of the podcast and leader of the Students for Equity group, make sure if you are watching this live, share this conversation out with as many people as possible. This is education out of the box. So everything is not going to be school, but it's definitely going to be a good conversation with our young people and their special guest on today. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic over to our co-host, Mr. Javon himself.
Hey. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Siobhan Manning. I am the co-host of the No Cap Zone and the leader for the Students of Equity group, and currently a freshman in high school. The No Cap Zone is a space for youth and students to elevate their voices on equity issues in our schools and communities. Most importantly, it's a space for us to be honest about how we feel and, and about the things that are going on in society. Before we get into episode one, we're gonna go over to NCZ News with Naya.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the NCZ News. I would just like to say that today's my mom's birthday, so that's the first thing I would like to say. Next thing, sadly, there was a 7.6 magnitude earthquake in Mexico along the coast of Oaxaca and other Black Afro Mexican cities or Afro Latino cities. Also, I'd like to say that there are not only Black people that are indigenous to Latin America or Central America, but there are also Black people that were indigenous to Europe before the white Europeans were there, called Moors. That's all. Thank you for listening to the NCZ News. Back to Jovan.
Students for Equity is back with our new season of the No Cap Zone, episode one, In These Streets, featuring our big sis Tanesha Peeples. This people that are currently on with us is Anaya. We are supposed to have Corey and Xavier with us, but they couldn't make it. So now it's time for me to pass it back to Anaya.
Hello, it's good to be back for a new season of the No Cap Zone. You all know we are here to elevate youth voices on things happening in our schools and society. Our first guest, Tanesha Peeples, is no stranger to our work. Let's welcome Tanesha to the No Cap Zone.
Welcome, Tanesha, to the No Cap Zone. Tanesha, we are glad to have you here. Please tell our viewers about yourself and the work you're doing in Chicago.
Hey, y'all, before I even get to that, I just want to say how extremely proud I am of y'all, our young people, just, holding this space down and talking about the issues that impact you all the most, because you should be part of every conversation across every issue. So I just want to say thank y'all for having me, and thank y'all for being the powerful voices and the advocates that you all are. And Javon, the last time I saw you, you were like 4 feet tall, and now you're like 6 feet tall. So that's crazy to me. But what's going on, family? My name is Tanesha Peeples. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships and Innovation for Wayfinder Foundation. I'm also a full-time staff writer for Black Wall Street Times. I'm the founder and chief executive officer of my own nonprofit organization called the Roots Initiative, where I'll be working with young people like Javon and Anaya. and I also DJ. And I'm from the South Side of Chicago, born and raised. Super proud of where I'm from, and that's what's really inspired me to do the work that I do, particularly the work that I do with young people. So thank y'all so much for having me, and I look forward to the conversation today.
All right, listen, y'all. This is exciting. This is like a homecoming, right? It's good to be on with you guys this evening, and since it's so great to connect with you again on the platform. So that's all I'll say. I'll wait till my announcements later. But let's get right into the conversation. Now We're gonna start deep because we got to break the people into what's about to happen. Um, I don't know if y'all watch Vice News. I don't really follow the script, and I know I'm saying that, and I can see them right now just throwing papers all over the room. Well, I want to navigate just a little bit. Vice News, I mean, it comes on HBO. Y'all may not watch it, but I just happened to catch the recent episode of Vice News, and I was like, man, what happened to the Black Lives Matter movement? And that our first question is centered around that. What did we learn from the dismantling, excuse me, of the Black Lives Matter movement? And how did it impact us as a people? So y'all are free to jump into the conversation, but that's our first question of the evening, and I'll let you guys chat it up.
Well, can I ask a question real quick? How has it been dismantled? I ain't up on that news.
Oh, okay. Do y'all not feel like it's dismantled? That we can start there.
Well, honestly, if you think about it, the Black Panthers had a 10-point plan and they had everything organized in a way where they would send their people out if they saw distress in us to fix the distress. Like, for example, they had the meal plans for the kids. They had they helped us with the police brutality. Like, whenever they saw us um, getting hurt by police, they would go out and help us. And if you look at any other organization nowadays, there's like no organization. For instance, the Black Lives Matter movement, for what I've seen, only goes and says, hey, everybody, this happened. Let's get together. Let's do a protest and then leave. Let's go on with our lives. While other organizations like the Black Panthers, it was every day, all day, that they would protect us and go out and do their duties for the people of the Black people. And so I would just say that if you look at like history, you can see that, for instance, Asians or Hispanics got laws passed in months, while we have been fighting for laws to be passed and for justice for like 400 years. And so maybe if our people were more organized and a little bit more selfish, because we, as Black people, are kinder and we do like to help other people, maybe we should start just focusing on us for a little while, just until we are stable.
Okay, my young sister. Now I feel your comment. I'm gonna give a little bit of context to my question, and then I'm gonna let Javon and
Mhm.
Tanesha hop in. On the Vice News segment, I don't know if you guys are even aware that the next generations, you all's people, are like already organized. There are a lot of Generation Y who are planning to vote conservative. They want to take over the Republican Party. They don't feel that Black Lives Matter is a strong movement any longer because they can, like you all, articulate that, yeah, we know that the media came in and did A, B, and C and painted this negative picture. And so people don't really value Black Lives Matter. So why am I going to be invested in that type of movement? And so this is what their mindset is. They're thinking about, we need this for all, and it kind of is allowing racism to be recreated, but in the tech world. And so with conservative values. And so it's very interesting to see young people, you all's age, who are adopting conservative ideals, but connecting it to people who are overlooked. And that's what basically they were talking about in regards to their movement as conservatives and their views about Black Lives Matter. So that's just a little bit more context to the question around, has the Black Lives Matter movement been dismantled and we don't even know? Anaya,
Uh,
shout out to your comments too, by the way. Go ahead, Javon.
First, I was not even aware that the Black Lives movement was dismantled at all. I thought that it was still continuing until I saw the news and how it wasn't even revolving around that anymore. Um, I do agree with the Naya because there were certain organizations to protect us, including like Gaines and Chris back then. They're mainly meant to protect their own communities when it was really needed. Um, but nowadays, if you think about it, anything can be canceled based off cancel culture, including Black Lives Matter. So most things wouldn't even last that long if you really think about it, based off the opinions of people that have a racist mindset or genuinely dislike people that want to stand up for what they believe in.
You also have to remember that a lot of our stuff gets stolen too,
Yeah.
and it's like stolen, and then it gets elevated by the other ethnicities.
That's very true. Good comment, Sean. Tanisha, what you want to add? I saw the comment too, y'all. This also was on Vice News, and I don't know if it's an article, but I do know it was this past Sunday's episode. Uh, I caught the replay at like 2:30 in the morning, and it had me. I was like, I can't wait to Wednesday to talk this up with y'all because I wanted to see, what are y'all even thinking about this? Do y'all even know who the opposition is? Like, it's just I feel like it's a really good conversation that apparently a lot of us are not even aware of. Go ahead, sis.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it. That's why I want to check it out. But you know what? I wouldn't even say that. So, first, I want to start with the civil rights movement, in my opinion, was strategically dismantled. The Black Lives Matter movement has been so co opted that we don't even recognize. I don't even know if there is a movement. And so, when I say that, and I think the fact that the civil rights movement was strategically dismantled and people haven't really touched the Black Lives Matter movement. I mean, you see when there are protests, there'll be people arrested and stuff like that. But when you think about the civil rights movement and how the FBI and the government overall worked so hard to destroy the Black Panthers, to destroy all of our Black leaders, the Black Panthers, Malcolm X, um, SNCC, all those organizations, they strategically worked to dismantle those organizations so that there will be no power for us, no unity, no leaders in the Black community. But now you see these Black Lives Matter activists or leaders, and they're on the TV and they're being welcomed. And it's, and not to say that we shouldn't be welcomed because, or they shouldn't be welcomed because we're more progressive now, but I don't see the same fight, and it makes me wonder, is this a movement or is this an opportunity? And I actually put on Twitter last week that we have to be mindful of the activist people who are in the activism movement versus people that are in the activism industry. And I think when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement or people in the movement itself, a lot of them are in the industry because activism is now popular. It's not a
Mhm.
movement, it's not a liberation force as the civil rights movement was. So that's kind of my take on it. Jason, we've had TDRS and we talked about this in the past. Um, Black Lives Matter, the organization nationally and local chapters had an opportunity to do so much on the heels of this brutality in our communities. And where are we now? The Black people, the Black agenda is still on the back burner. So I don't know. It's not dismantled, it's just been co opted.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with all of the comments, and I feel like this is such a powerful conversation, especially when, books are being banned from our schools. A lot of social studies teachers are leaving because, they don't want to be compromised in being able to teach true history and the truth. So I know that was deep, but I want to go to another aspect of our culture, um, but also going to bring in just a little humor. Now, y'all know we take these notice that we did not choose the queen of rap because I mean, people really, they go in about that. I don't know why that's a tough question, but it's really deep because people, they really go in about, you know, the queen of rap debate. So, who do you consider to be the king of rap for your generation? Because we all represent a different time, right? So, who do you consider to be the king of rap for your generation? If you're tuned in to the conversation, you are free to join in. your thoughts by going to the comment section and letting us know, in your opinion, who do you say is the king of rap for your generation? So whoever wants to hop in first, tell us what
I
you got.
don't even listen to rap like that anymore.
Praise
But
God.
but I've noticed in the news that like Kendrick Lamar is coming back, and I noticed that people are starting to listen to Tupac again. And so I guess like in everything we do, there's nothing new under the sun. So we're just gonna keep going back and forth between old and new.
I like it. I like that.
Personally, I do not think about anyone being like the king of rap because I'm more of someone that likes old school and new school at the same time.
Come on.
Um, I can't really name all the artists I've listened to over the years, but I more likely would prefer like old school rappers because they have more lyrical and understanding of what they're saying. While nowadays they're just going to be talking about things that are irrelevant but also harmful to people.
Hmm.
Can I just say I'm so happy that y'all didn't name one of those babies? What is it? Little baby, baby cousin, ugly baby, baby bottom,
Baby,
baby
baby.
bottom. All of those rappers named it. I'm so glad. I'm so glad because I'm so those I was actually just about to write a piece about how I feel that rap culture is just really corrosive in our community these days. So yeah, I'm just glad to know that there's some young people out here that's actually hip to like the propaganda that is the entertainment industry, specifically the rap entertainment industry. But anyway, let me get off that soapbox.
No, that
um
was good.
so I would agree. For me it's like Tupac or Biggie. And I'm gonna have to probably go with Tupac. And I actually had the opportunity a couple of months ago to go to the Tupac Live exhibit in LA,
Hmm.
and what I really appreciate was that at his core, Tupac was an activist. And
Hmm.
um, going back to what we talked about around the civil rights movement, and the government trying to rid our communities of our leaders, like Tupac was one of those people because his murder is still unsolved. And so Tupac and his mother and his father were activists. And so while Tupac had the gangster rap and all that stuff, he still spoke consciously and was just a conscious person all around and an activist. So I'm definitely going with Tupac.
Yeah, I feel that Tupac has definitely come up a lot. I see that was one of the comments that was made, and I'm just impressed that we're still breaking stereotypes that all black kids just don't automatically love rap music. Like that's not my number one. So we can be versatile in what we listen to. So I definitely appreciate that. And I'm gonna say this. I feel like rap music isn't the issue. The issue is our abuse of the art of storytelling, because
Mm,
Right.
rappers have a story to tell, and they have always had a very powerful story to tell, but it's kind of like a lost art now. So it's just
mhm,
really gibberish. That's why a lot of people are like, yeah, we hear the common thing. I listen to it for the beat, but it's like, that gibberish does start to, you know, play in your
Mess with
mind
you
as well.
mentally.
So,
You-
Tupac,
you-
rest in peace, brother. But I agree that that was definitely one of the legends. So shout out to that. Javon, you got a last thing you wanted to say around that?
Oh, I said that I agree because it does mess with you mentally because it can affect your own mental psyche and bring you down to a point where you really don't wish to be, and yet you're going to be forced to if you keep on listening to it.
Yeah, and you also do have to remember that they are abusing the power of musical talent, because if you remember back in history, we would use music to send codes to each other and to talk to each other because like we didn't want the like plantation owners knowing what we were about to do.
We had our own forms of communication
Right.
beyond what they thought.
Right.
Yeah, that was good, y'all. Listen, that we
I just
definitely
love
feel in
y'all.
the flow. I'm just letting y'all talk because it really is y'all show. I'm just here to support. But that was dope. I do want to go in this direction though. Um, Tanisha made such a powerful point when she opened up and said, "I'm appreciative of you all continuing to have this space." And one of the things that is still far too common is that young people are not involved in conversations around what's happening in our society, what's happening in school, but also what's happening outside of school. And so, Anaya and Javon, I'm really gonna pass the mic to you all to really kind of tell us what are some of the issues that are actually impacting your generation, your friends, people that are in your network, issues that you feel like are important. Because again, we too often make a lot of assumptions about, oh, the young people concerned about basketball. They're concerned about entertainment. They're concerned about who's going to the skating rink. We don't really know what is a concern of y'all because no one is really asking. So we're gonna pass the mic to you two to share with us what are some of the issues that are important to you all, maybe some of your friends or just young people in general.
Um, for me, some of the concerns that I've really had to notice this year was that people they don't like to take criticism, and then they'll start to get into arguments, sometimes fights. Um, Certainly, I've had to experience them doing that, and I really was like confused, like why are they doing that when they can just diffuse it by asking the proper questions? But I had to think that, oh, they weren't, sometimes they weren't taught or raised properly to the point where they know
Mm-hmm.
how to have common sense, and they are able to have discipline and self-mastery with themselves. um, some other things is that sometimes even if we have like our work done, we tend to forget what we learned because one, to us it's like not even that significant to the point where we don't want to remember, because mainly nowadays we're like focused on social media, we're focused on HBO, etc. Because truly we're just trying to find a way to escape our own realities. But overall, those are like the main things that I've had to see within my own school system and also other school systems.
Right. And a lot of the kids nowadays, I can't really even talk to them because they're so worried about stuff like not even like educational things about their future. They're just worried about money or like relationships. And I'm like, are you not worried about how you're going to impact the world? Like, are you not worried about our next generation? Because we're the leaders for the next generation. And you're sitting here worried about like small stuff. You're not trying to get your driver's license. You're not trying to go to college. You're not trying to learn about your history. And that's like another thing, like schools should really start taking like accountability, like teachers especially, because a lot of the teachers, their parents and stuff and their grandfathers are the reason why our school system and our like educational system or our music or our dressing or like the way we're supposed to look is the way it is today, and that impacts our minds and like female minds and male minds, and it impacts us because we're so worried about what the world thinks of us instead of just trying to do what's right. And so that's like a big worry in our generation.
Y'all, I'm taking notes. I'm like, I hope that, parents, educators, aunties, grandparents are tuning in and actually listening to what you all have to say. And one of the YouTube comments was, so social media and HBO are outlets for our young people. Like parents, you don't know that. So if you don't watch HBO, you don't know
There's
what
multiple.
conversations, right? People have to be intentional about these conversations. Tanisha, did you want to add anything? I'm going to turn it over to Javon for final thoughts shortly.
I mean, I just want to say that, and especially as I embark on this opportunity to start my own organization and work with young people, I think it's criminal that we aren't listening to them more. And it's disgusting, because we're accountable for their future more than they are at this point. And for us to not listen to them around what they need, what influences them, how to keep them engaged is just like, it's irresponsible. And so I just want to encourage everybody to, keep listening to our youth, and also pay attention to the assault on our youth at every angle, particularly in school. And Black kids, like, they are doing everything they can to erase our identity, our pride, our culture, anything they can. And it starts with book bans, starts with identity
Mm-hmm.
censure, all this stuff. And so there's an attack on our kids, and I just want people to be mindful of that. They deserve to, grow up. They deserve to know who they are. They deserve to know who their ancestors were and whose shoulders they stand on. So, yeah, I just want people to wake up and let the young people speak and let the young people live.
Yep.
I'm game with it. I love that. Y'all, we are almost at the end of our time, so I'm gonna turn it over to Javon for final thoughts before we go ahead and go on out. But that was some good nuggets. Javon, what you got to say, brother?
Okay, so before we close out, I want to give a, a big round of applause to our guest for a moment. So let's give her a round of applause.
Tanisha, yes.
Appreciate y'all.
So, the Students for Equity is a platform for students to raise their voices on social justice issues that are happening every day. So, if you're interested in communicating or supporting our advocacy, please email us at studentsforequityinschools@gmail.com.
Dopeness. All right, guys. We got 1 minute left, and I kind of want to end us out on something funny. Um, But I want to also make sure, listen, if you're tuned into this conversation, the Students for Equity podcast, the No Cap Zone is happening every third Wednesday of the month. Big shout out to our sister Tanesha, who is doing some amazing work, not just in Chicago, but across the nation. Every time I'm in spaces and people are talking about advocacy, somebody has worked with, been in a fellowship with, been on the grounds with, doing the work with her. And so I'm so honored to just be able to call her sister. So thank you for continually being on to actually see the students on their own podcast. This has been a long time in the making. So with that being said, guys, the next show will be on in October. And we're excited about that conversation. If you have not gone to educational entities, make sure that you connect for the recap conversations, all that great jazz. Shout out to Javon and Anaya. This is the first show for the second season. And y'all are holding it down because I'm going to be fading slowly but surely away. And y'all will be taking this on. So let me ask this. What is the best wing spot where you live? Like, what is the best? Now, I ain't going to listen. I love a good chicken wing. I don't care what nobody says. They can steal your type me all day long. But I love a good chicken wing. So on the way out for this show, what is your favorite wing place? And I will say this, Grandma's Kitchen does count. So if she throw them drumettes on the stove or she put them on the grill, whatever it is, they count too. So I'm just throwing that out there. What's your favorite wing spot? If you're watching
Well,
live, comment as well.
well, in our house, we are mostly vegetarian when we eat like fish and veggies and fruit, so we don't touch that other meat right now.
Okay. I feel you on that. That's okay. What kind of forever?
That's
What's
we
up?
want to be
Anybody
like
else?
y'all.
Yeah.
Look, I was
We
like,
don't
we
touch
probably
that
need to
meat.
be like that. But for those of us who still every now and then maybe eating the chicken wing, what y'all got?
Me personally, I don't have a favorite wing spot. More likely, I tend to enjoy my wings at home because one, not only that I have grown like a super accustomed to it, is for some reason I feel a little bit more better about the produce I'm eating because it's not like the usual food that everyone else is eating.
That fresh food.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. Tanisha, what's up?
I mean, I love a good home cook, fried chicken wing with some lemon pepper, garlic salt, seasoned salt and pepper. But I'm from Chicago and we gotta say Harold's. So I'm going with Harold's. Just depends on which one. If you ever in Chicago, don't go to a Harold's on the north side, go to a Harold's on the south side. Well, not west side ain't got Harold's, but go to Harold's on the south side. So I'm gonna say Harold's since I'm from Chicago.
Okay, I'm gonna be real short, y'all. It's a place. I used to be when I was a school administrator. There was this restaurant called Taco Pete, not far from our school. Um, it's awesome, and I know you're thinking like Taco Pete. Yes, the tacos are great too. Now I'm not gonna knock that. The tacos are great, but they do have wings, and I mean, it's it's amazing, y'all. So check out Taco Pete. If you come down to Atlanta, Tanisha, we're gonna get the wings from Taco Pete. You're gonna see what I'm talking about. Anaya, now they got some good tacos, so we gonna have that.
I,
We can, when y'all come down, we'll do the tacos. They got something for y'all too.
you got El
We gonna get the
Salvadorian
wings.
food?
Yeah, they got it all. Now they do have that. I know they got some. I know they got stuff for y'all, but their wings are awesome. So we gonna close out y'all, so we don't get kicked out of the studio. But Tanesha, again, thank you for being on. Great job, Javon and Anaya. I can't wait to see the reels that they put together from this conversation. But hey, we out, y'all. Peace and love. Shout out to Students for Equity. We'll see y'all next month when they return.